Everybody is selling something. That is the line that stuck with me after reading this piece. Everybody is selling something, and it is rarely a product with a price tag on it. It's an idea, an identity, fear, comfort.
Right. We're used to the idea of a commercial marketplace, but we are completely blind to the marketplace of influence. We think of sales as someone knocking on the door offering a vacuum cleaner, but the most dangerous sales pitches don't look like sales pitches at all. They look like validation. They look like belonging. They look like a political movement that suddenly makes you feel like your anger is justified, or a spiritual movement that tells you performance is the same thing as truth. And because we don't recognize it as a transaction, we don't guard our minds against it.
That's a structural problem. We've built an entire culture around defending our physical property and our financial assets, but the mind is just left completely open. You say in the piece that if I can get into your mind, I can get into your values. And if I get into your values, I can get into your choices.
Exactly. Because behavior modification is actually really difficult if you attack it at the level of behavior. If I just tell you to stop doing something, you'll resist it. But if I can shape what you consider normal, if I can slowly move the boundaries of what you fear, what you love, what you'll sacrifice yourself for, then your behavior changes automatically. That's why the battle is so much deeper than politics or entertainment. It's about access. It's about who gets to define reality for you. And right now, we have an entire generation standing in the middle of this marketplace with zero armor.
Let's talk about that generation, because the targeting isn't accidental. It's algorithmic.
It's entirely algorithmic, and we treat it like a passive environment, like it's just the weather. But it's an active, predatory system. We hand children devices before we hand them discernment. We give them exposure before we give them wisdom. And then we wonder why they are overwhelmed.
I was looking at the 2026 World Happiness Report, specifically Chapter 3, which focused on the product safety of social media for kids. It said that modern platforms rely on algorithms that track exactly what users watch or pause on, and then serve more of the same to keep them engaged. The average American teenager is spending nearly 5 hours a day on these platforms. That isn't just a habit. That is an immersive reality.
It is an alternative reality that is constantly selling them a version of themselves. And the thing is, actually, the deeper issue is that it's selling them dependency. When you look at the neurobiological impact, frequent engagement with these platforms alters dopamine pathways in a way that fosters dependency analogous to substance addiction. That's not me being dramatic. That's clinical data from recent neurophysiological studies. We are dealing with systems that are designed to capture attention for profit without any ethical boundary. So when I say everybody is selling something, I mean these platforms are selling your child's attention to advertisers by keeping your child in a state of constant, low-level anxiety or constant stimulation.
Wait, does that actually hold? Because I hear you, but I keep getting stuck on the idea that this is inherently a malicious war. Aren't algorithms just neutral mirrors? If a kid wants to see dance videos, it shows dance videos. Is it really an adversarial force, or is it just highly efficient capitalism?
I don't think it's neutral at all. I mean, yes, it starts as efficient capitalism, but the result is adversarial to the human spirit. Because what keeps attention isn't usually dance videos for very long. What keeps attention is outrage, it's insecurity, it's comparison. The algorithms push extreme content to vulnerable youth because that's what drives engagement, and that's linked to a massive increase in mental health problems, poor body image, and worse. The system rewards confusion and impulsivity. A stable, disciplined, discerning teenager who knows who they are does not spend 7 hours a day scrolling. So the system literally cannot afford for your child to be at peace.
That makes me genuinely uncomfortable. The idea that peace is unprofitable.
It's highly unprofitable. Think about what people are buying every day. They buy identities that keep them broken. They buy narratives that keep them angry because anger feels like power when you're actually powerless. We see wounded people selling their pain as a worldview. We see influencers selling false empowerment. And it all works because it feeds a void. If I can keep you insecure, I can profit from you. If I can keep you spiritually asleep, I can separate you from the awareness that would actually protect you.
Which brings us to the adults, because while the kids are navigating this psychological minefield, what are the adults doing? We are arguing.
We're arguing over labels. We're arguing over denominations, political tribes, appearances. We would rather argue religion than teach spiritual defense. That is one of the greatest tragedies of this era to me. We fight over who has the correct doctrine, but we do not teach our children how temptation actually works in the modern world. We don't teach them how shame is weaponized. We don't teach them how peer pressure has been digitized and monetized. We're fighting a culture war from 1995 while our kids are fighting a battle for their baseline cognitive freedom.
Because they know how to react, but not how to examine.
Exactly. They know how to repeat language. They know the trending vocabulary for justice or trauma, but they don't know how to identify manipulation. They don't know how to test the fruit of an influence. Does this space make me more anxious? Does this friendship require me to perform? Does this political echo chamber actually care about my well-being, or does it just need my outrage to sustain itself?
I don't know. That feels too clean to me. You're asking for a level of discernment that most 40-year-olds don't have. Can a 12-year-old really fight a billion-dollar algorithm by just learning to test the fruit?
That is exactly why it has to be taught. No, a 12-year-old cannot fight it alone. But what is our alternative? We send them into a battle unarmed. The inner work is the only defense that scales. You look at places that are actually trying to teach this, like Finland. They integrated media literacy into core classes, teaching students from a young age to actively fact-check, think critically, and understand how media shapes culture. And it works. Finland consistently ranks first in resistance to disinformation. But it's not just about political misinformation. It's about spiritual and emotional misinformation. Teaching a child that not everything that flatters them loves them. Not everything that comforts them strengthens them.
That is the shift. Moving from trying to sanitize the environment, which is impossible, to fortifying the person.
Right, because you can't block every bad input. The world is always selling something. It will call poison freedom. It will call corruption self-expression. The goal isn't to hide the child from the market. The goal is to make the child into the kind of person who cannot be bought so easily. Not bought by fear, not bought by vanity, not bought by the desperate need to belong to a tribe. We have to teach them to protect their peace. We have to teach them how to sit still, observe patterns, govern their appetites, and realize that true freedom isn't endless stimulation. True freedom is having a mind that belongs to you.
It comes down to who is preparing the people to stand. Thank you for this. It's a heavy thing to sit with, but completely necessary.
It is. We have to tell the truth. Truth doesn't have to manipulate to be true. Real love doesn't leave children defenseless.
If this conversation shifted how you see the world today, send it to someone who needs to hear it. The work starts when the episode ends.